Mrs. Robinson, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing pretty good. And I heard that it is cold in Los Angeles at the moment.
It has been cold and rainy for the weekend, actually. But I love the rain. It's peaceful. It's
Mhm.
quiet. But it feels good. It's so sunny and warm mostly. This is a nice break.
Now, the rain that you have in Los Angeles, does it cool down the weather a bit, or is it mostly humid rain? Because in Florida, it's like it's hit or miss. In Florida, it's either humid rain or it's cool rain.
No, it definitely cools the weather down a little. It's not a lot of humidity here, so when it's cold, it gets cold.
And now you did a TV show called Yo, I'm 13. And what's the TV series about?
So it's called I'm 13 Yo.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And yeah, it's based on my real life experience as a single mom raising a kid who is asserting his independence. He's turned 13 and wants to see the world and experience the world in his own way without rules. And in the show, the humor comes in because the universe conspires to assist him, and the mother has no control whatsoever. Everything goes the kid's way. So,
So you actually wrote the show.
yes, I did write 5 episodes. It's a comedy. It is on Amazon Prime to be all major streaming platforms around the world. So, it's doing really well.
Very cool. Now, according to your resume, you've done a lot of Christmas movies, mostly uh, Hallmark Christmas movies. Now, do you enjoy doing Christmas movies?
I, I haven't done a lot. I don't think. I mean, I guess maybe by comparison, it might be a lot, but I do enjoy doing Christmas movies because they're timeless to me, and once you find your favorites, you're going to always come back to them every year. So that's a lot of fun. It's beautiful. It's kind of odd though, because like you said, it's warm in LA, and most of the time when we're filming Christmas movies, it's really hot.
And is Christmas your favorite holiday?
No, I prefer Thanksgiving actually,
Understood.
because yeah, it's less about what you buy and more about family and good food.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. Thanksgiving is a fun holiday. Now, a lot of people do things differently around Thanksgiving. I mean, mostly turkey is the famous one, but some people do different meals around Thanksgiving. Same with Christmas. Now, does your family, do you have turkey around Thanksgiving, or do you do something different?
Yeah, so for Thanksgiving, we usually do the traditional turkey. Christmas, I'm a country girl, so I prefer a country ham or no ham at all. But for Christmas, I do like to add a little something different. So we might do crab legs or, lobster bisque or, just something different to spice it up. But by Thanksgiving, you've had all this food all year. You want, your staples, your traditional. So for Christmas, we do the staples, but we mix it up a little bit.
Now, you said you grew up in the country. You're a country person. Now, is it like a farm country, or is it just like a
Yeah, well, I grew up, my grandparents lived next door. We had a huge garden. I didn't farm as much as my grandfather was a sharecropper actually. So we didn't farm as much as they did. But I do remember my uncles having pigs. They made homemade sausage, all that kind of stuff. I wasn't into that. I was, in another lifetime, I'd probably be vegan, but my body needs a lot of protein.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, we did definitely grow up gardening a lot. And so I remember sitting on the porch with my grandmother, shucking corn and shelling peas. And, we did a lot of canning and, that type of thing. So very peaceful,
Mhm.
calm, quiet lifestyle in the country, growing up gardening a lot. Those were my summers, gardening and reading books.
Nice. And did you get a chance to do most of that during? So it's been almost a year since the COVID pandemic finally ended. And now during the beginning of the pandemic, when everything shut down and couldn't go out much, did you get to do some of the things that you enjoyed doing growing up to help the time pass?
No, absolutely. You fall back on your first loves, right? In a
Mhm.
situation like that. So I made dill pickle, usually with my grandmother and my mom, I made, regular pickles or sweet pickles,
Nice.
as we might call them. But during the pandemic, I made dill pickles. And, I was growing herbs. I was growing my own herb garden. In LA, it's not a lot of space to grow a lot, like a huge garden. But I did grow my own herbs and spices and things that made spices. So I used some of the dill that I had grown to make dill pickles. I did some, we call it homemade ketchup, but it's really like a succotash or like a sweet relish. And you put it on beans and meats and things like that. So I canned a whole bunch. It's a tomato-based relish. So I canned a whole. Everybody in the South is going to know what I'm talking about. Some people call it like cha-cha sauce or something. Anyway, everybody has different names, but in my family we call it homemade ketchup. So yeah, I canned a lot of that, and then I packaged it and sent it like a jar to each of my aunts, and everybody loved it. It was fun. Anyway, you have all this time during the pandemic, and I wrote. I'm 13. Finished writing. I'm 13, and filmed it. So I did a lot during the pandemic. Had to stay
My
busy, right?
mother started making homemade jam throughout the pandemic, and she still does it. And it's funny because this year I actually made, so there's a chicken joint called Raising Cane's Chicken. You could get
I've
three
heard of Raising
pieces,
Cane.
four pieces, six
Hmm.
pieces, or you could just get a sandwich. Uh, it's one of the best chicken finger places I have ever tried, and the sauce is incredible. But there actually is
It's
a way you could make homemade cane sauce. I'm not going to say that on the Zoom, but there is a way you could make homemade cane sauce.
everybody's gonna be looking it up now,
Yeah.
including me after we're done.
Hey, you could go on YouTube and find it. YouTube has everything.
Well, by all accounts, you can make homemade the special sauce that goes on McDonald's burgers, like even in and out burger. Like I figured that out. If you're a cook, like my first boyfriend, like really was really good at like going places and tasting things and coming home and making it right off the bat. That's taken me a long time. I still haven't figured it out how to hack a lot of recipes, but he knows how to do it. So yeah, you can figure these things out for sure.
And with just talking about secret sauce and figuring out hacks how to make them, it's like the movie, the Nickelodeon movie, The Good Burger, where trying to think of the guy's name, Kel Mitchell. Yeah, Kel Mitchell makes that
Yeah,
sauce that he puts on his burger and then he makes everyone try it
I
before they
I
start.
love that movie. It's one of my favorites,
A
right?
great movie. Have you
Yeah,
seen the second one yet?
I have not.
Yeah, they made a second one. It either came out last year or this year, but it's on Paramount Plus.
Oh wow, okay. I'm gonna have to watch that. But yeah, I love that. Welcome to Good Burger. May I take your order?
Every time I watch that movie, it's like, oh, this predicted SpongeBob a little bit.
Right, right. Yeah, great movie lines that you could just continue to quote, for the rest of your life for fun.
Oh yes, my mother does the same thing.
Mhm, mhm.
And speaking of movies, do you have anything in particular you're filming right now?
Not at the moment. I'm in post production for my comedy series, The Clinic on Western Avenue, and that should be out in a couple of months by the spring, I think. So we're really excited about that. Comedy seems to be the thing. So yeah, I've kind of shut down. I had to call my agent and my manager and tell them, look, stop everything. I have got to focus and finish this. So, you kind of got to manage your life like that. And so I kind of shut down everything that might be pulling for my attention. And so I'm being really intentional about finishing post production right now. So, and then I'll get back to filming later.
Nice. And what was your biggest inspiration for going into writing and acting?
Probably just average people, really. I tell people I had some angels that came in my life, you know, some people who knew me, some people who didn't know me, and they really encouraged me to write. They saw the work that I was doing. You know, I was a teacher, and so I was writing plays and skits for my students, and their families would tell me, wow, you're a great writer, you're very creative, you know, you should do this for a living. And after I burned out with teaching, then yeah, that was the way to go. Teaching can wear you out, right? Um, my son was an inspiration to me. You know, we just had a lot of hilarious moments. And you know, I wanted to kind of recreate that narrative of the single mom being broke, busted, disgusted, and losing Isaiah, and you know, recreate a comedy around being a single mom, and because it was a lot of fun for me. We had a lot of great times, my son and I, and I wanted to show that. I felt like that wasn't on screen. It was on screen having fun with, you know, a traditional family unit, but the non-traditional family units, the closest I saw was like Modern Family. But even in that, you had two parents, you know, and so I wanted to show, yeah, this single mom with the kid, and you know, just the hilarity that comes out of that. And you know, a lot of people have a lot of fun with their families, and single parents do too. You know, so I wanted to bring voice to that, and I think we did a great job. I really do. It's really comical. People love it.
One of my distant cousins was an editor on Modern Family. He was the editor for the episodes.
Really? I love
Yeah.
that show. It inspired me so much. Oh, and you know what? Incidentally, so we did the pilot episode of I'm 13 Yo First, and it was the lead character's um, aunt who inspired us to continue filming a whole season. And you know, I really just wanted to kind of pitch it to studios and see what happens. But anyway, her name was Rhonda. She was a big inspiration to me. So my son had invited her granddaughter over to come and film like a music video or something. Anyway, they were just fooling around with some music and filming and that type of thing. And so she came over and we just had some tea and just started talking. And she's like, yeah, I saw I'm 13 Yo, and you really need to keep going. And I'm like, look, you know, that thing took blood, sweat, and tears just to produce one episode. And yeah, Rhonda said, no, you know, roll up your sleeves and get back to work. How can I help? She referred me to her daughter who ended up directing the series, the last 4 episodes of the series, Ariel Noel. She's an amazing director, and you know, line produced the whole thing. So I was really able to take a step back and just focus on being an actress. And yeah, her significant other, Theo Hippolyte, filmed it. He did all the cinematography. I mean, you know, and we did all of this during the pandemic. You know, we had a COVID compliance officer. You know, it's amazing how once you say, okay, I'm going to do something, you know, what the saying, you know, once you make up your mind, the universe conspires to assist you, right? It really is true. Like everything came together and came in place. And um, I'm amazed. Like I was scrolling on Amazon last night and I'm watching like all 5 episodes. I'm like, this is really wild that this came out and anybody around the world is watching it, you know. And then, well, we went back last year and dubbed it in Spanish. So that'll be coming out soon as well. So you can look for that. But yeah, since then though, it's funny because I forgot about it because we were doing so much with the clinic on Western Avenue. I just kind of forgot that, you know, I was so focused, like it was in the universe and it was going to be getting out on more and more platforms. And then suddenly you wake up and it's like, wow, we did it. Thank God. You know, you just, all you can do is just thank God that, you know, it got out there and people are watching and enjoying it. So
And what is the advice that you would like to pass on to future writers?
keep writing and tell people about your work, talk to people about it. I think, you know, I was very shy at first and I didn't talk about my work a lot. people saw it, because ultimately what's in you is going to come out, right?
Mhm.
And so, um, but yeah, talk it up. You know, I think I had to be nudged, like the spirits and the ancestors and everybody had to nudge me and push me and, prod me forward and put me in position. But yeah, don't fight it. Just talk about your work. And so it took me, like, I was literally been, this is crazy, I know, but I was literally in LA and afraid to tell people I'm a writer, I'm an actress. Like, isn't that insane? Like, it was a whole nother life, and people, a lot of people that I socialized did not know that side about me, but yet I'm going out auditioning and I'm, writing at night and, collaborate, so it took a while for me to say I'm an artist. And I tell people, when I look back on that time, I felt like, or I could identify with people who are in the closet or have like some type of gender identity crisis or things like that, and they're so afraid to come out. Like, it really hit me in that moment that this is what they're feeling at, like, when they can't truly express their sexuality. And yeah, and seeing the whole LGBTQ movement and how they are pushing and fighting for who they are, it just motivated me to fight for, be an artist, be transparent about who you really are. So yeah.
It's a fantastic example.
Yeah, yeah.
And
It was
oh, sorry,
a
go
pretty moving moment. It's like an epiphany, so.
ahead. That's what I was thinking as well.
Hmm.
And we are coming down to the end of our interview, and we have two questions. The first one is, my mother wants to know, if you had to spend the rest of your life watching one movie, it doesn't have to be every day, but if you had to spend the rest of your life watching that one movie, what would it be?
Your mother's gonna love this. The Thornbirds.
Thornbirds. I've never heard
Yeah,
of it.
your mother would get it. Yes. I was a kid and I fell in love with that movie. Oh my God, I love the Thornbirds. But yes, that would be the movie I'd watch for the rest of my life.
And for the retro question, did you have a favorite retro product growing up in the 80s or 90s?
Wow. Interesting. I tell people, I don't know if I love the 70s and the 90s more, which is weird. I know because, like I'm really like an 80s baby, but um probably, those gloves, like the Mike, not the Michael Jackson gloves, but the um um Cindy Lauper gloves,
Mhm.
where
Yeah.
the lace gloves where the fingers were cut out and all that. Um, I think that would be my favorite, like retro, like the fashion, big hair and all that. That would be my favorite retro. And the music was pretty hip too, like,
Oh yeah.
the hip hop, the Blondie was huge, Cindy Lauper. Like, I love those gals.
Back to the Future and movies, of course, like Ghostbusters and
Oh yeah, I love Ghostbusters. Did you see that documentary about the guy who wrote the song?
no, I
Um,
haven't seen it yet. It's on my list.
so he was, yes, please watch it. It's called Who You Gonna Call, and it documents his life and how he kind of had a hard time coming up in the music industry,
Imagine.
and ultimately he made that one hit. He became like this one hit wonder, and now he's just world known, world renowned. And it's funny. I used to tell people all the time, like, I'm so glad I'm an actress. I would never ever want to be in the music business, like, to save my life. And then I have a kid who's in the music business, and I make a TV show about a kid in the music business, and we wrote a soundtrack, and now the music is out, on major music streaming platforms. So I'm in the music business, and now I sing jazz. So
Very cool, very cool. And speaking of music, I just realized this today, but by the time June hits, it would have been 15 years ago since Michael Jackson passed away.
really,
Yeah.
God, I cried that day. I cried for days after that.
I actually didn't know who he was back then, but see, like, I didn't discover his music until after he passed away. I mean, I heard of him. I knew he had that
What?
cameo, and I mean, he had that cameo in Men in Black too. I knew that, but I didn't know who
Right, but you
he
didn't know the
was.
music and okay, I get it. Right, right.
But then I discovered his
Yeah.
music, even the uh, Moonwalker movie that came out in the 80s. Yeah.
Well,
Good.
and it's a lot of kids totally vibing on his music right now. Like, it's amazing. He just transcends time. I mean, Michael Jackson, superstar. That's all you could say, you know.
Mrs. Robinson, thank you again for joining today's interview.
Thank you, Ben. All right, tell mom hello.